All right, so now that I've teased the idea of effects by showing the input settings and input effects, let's just talk about effects in general. Effects are a big part of what makes the SP404 Mark II such an attractive device because there's a lot of great high quality effects that can be used on the internal samples or on anything being routed through the inputs, which includes things that are being sent to the SP404 via USB-C. There are 4 different effects buses that are here, and all effects buses can be used simultaneously, which is great. To get an idea of the overall structure of the effects, first off, I'm going to get out of this bank. Let's go back to bank A, where we have some simple things set up. And we see in bank A, most of the samples here are white. But there's 2 of these. In fact, the 2 samples that are recorded, these are both in this orange color. The reason why is because these 2 effects are assigned to effects bus 1. They're being sent to effects bus 1. The other samples here that are white are not being routed to any of my effects buses. So these are all dry, all right? So with that established, let's go to the effects settings. I'm gonna hold Shift and press Pad 16. And when we're in these menus, if you see tabs at the top, you use knob 3 to navigate through the different tabs. Okay, so right now I see it says favorite. Here I can set up the overall routing of the effects. And the main thing to know is that bus 1 and bus 2 can either be routed in a parallel configuration, where we can have one sample go to bus 1, a different sample go to bus 2, and bus 1 does not get sent to bus 2 or vice versa. All right, that's currently how I have it set up. If I press the encoder, it changes the routing so that now I can have something assigned to bus 1 and bus 1 outputs to bus 2. So bus 1 and bus 2 are now in a series, in a serial configuration, which is nice if, let's say, maybe I want to have a filter on bus 1 that gets fed into, let's say, a reverb on bus 2 to do a typical kind of washout effect. This way, I can create an effects chain. No matter what I do with bus 1 and bus 2, both of them get output to bus 3 and bus 4. So think of bus 3 and bus 4 as like mastering effects. It's a great place for, let's say, compression, saturation, things like that. But obviously, do whatever floats your creative boat. Now, before we get into buses 3 and 4, let's focus on bus 1 and 2, because those are the ones that are most easy to access. I'm going to press exit here. We can see here there's a button that says bus effects, and if I press this, I can toggle between effects bus 1 and effects bus 2. Let's select effects bus 1. All right, I want to assign a sample to this effects bus. Let's say this same one here. All right, and before I do this, let me just go here because this is actually bugging me. I don't want this to be stretched anymore, so we're going to change this back to Shift. I want this back in vinyl mode. I like my samples in vinyl mode. Okay, cool. My sample sounds better. I like that. Let me get out of this menu by pressing exit. All right, now if I want to assign any of my samples to the currently selected effects bus, I just hold remain, and then I can press the pad. So now we see that this is an orange color. It doesn't sound different because no effects are currently on. We see on the side of the screen, there are 6 buttons here, and this is what allows me to access the different effects. There are 5 effects I can access by just toggling these buttons on and off, and then the MFX button takes me to a menu where I have a lot more effects. There's actually 3 pages of effects here. So there's 16 on page 1. If I'm holding the MFX button, I can press the DJ effects button here to access page 2. And if I hold MFX and press the isolator button, this is page 3. There's a lot of effects. Let's keep it simple for now, all right? Let's say for this sample, I engage the filter. This is on. And now these 3 knobs allow me to adjust parameters of the filter. All right, very nice. Some of these effects, you'll see the parameters will have arrows pointing down, letting you know there's a second page you can access. And if you press the encoder knob, this takes you to the second page where you can change different settings. All right. Now, let's say I want one sample assigned to one effect. And that's actually kind of nice. Okay, let's say we want that. And then maybe I also want it so that one of my snares, maybe this gets assigned to, I don't know, some really cool delay or something. All right. Let me go back to my effects settings. Bus 1 and bus 2 will be parallel, so I can choose a different effect for bus 2. Okay, I need to select bus 2. Let me press the bus effects button, and now bus 2 is selected, and I can choose a different effect without turning off what's affecting bus 1. For this bus, let's go ahead and choose a multi-effect. I'm going to go into MFX, and these pads correspond to the effects that are on the screen. So I'm going to choose this, Kodama, which is a really cool stereo kind of ping pong delay. All right, and I want to assign this sample to it. Since effects bus 2 is selected, if I hold remain and press this, now we see this is lit up in a different color. And let's change the effect parameters here. Okay. All right, so we see both of those are there. Maybe some reverb might be a bit better, actually. I have a reverb on the second page. Okay. All right. So anyway, playing with effects is very, very easy to do because you have a lot of effects to choose from, and you can assign them to one bus or the other. In addition to that, once we have these both going through an effects bus, we can assign multiple effects to either bus. Like I said, they're both going to go through bus 3 and 4. If we want to change the effects for bus 3 and 4, I can just use this third knob here to move through the tabs. And let's say for bus 3, I want everything to go through what? I see my dotted line is on this area where it says effects type. Maybe I want everything to go through this vinyl simulation. This is a thing a lot of the kids like to do these days. I'll press this to confirm, go down to the next row, and now I can adjust these knobs. And now anything assigned to any effects bus will then go through this. Okay. Let's go ahead and get out of this. Oops. Make sure I'm on the right effects bus. There we go. All right. So now we have some nice color, some nice character to play with. And what's great about this is if we incorporate this with sampling, we can then resample our samples with the effects applied to process them even further.